Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Shado, the internet personality who hates being right sometimes. And today's review is the sequel that nobody asked for, Wishmaster 4. Or Wishmaster, The Prophecy Fulfilled, because, fuck it, the only way anyone is going to watch this is if they pick it up mistaking it for the first one. While the third movie didn't make anyone want the series to continue, it's too bad for them because filming started on the fourth about a weekend after it ended on the third. But it doesn't mean this and Wishmaster 3 are actually the only two movies in the Wishmaster franchise to be directed by the same guy, Chris Angel. No, not that Chris Angel. But it also means that Wishmaster movies make about 40% of the feature films that the guy has directed. As far as I can tell, they usually throw them in the editing room. But what is the tale of this prophecy fulfilled, you might ask? Well, a Djinn is released in modern times, and actually does manage to get the Waker to ask for 3 wishes. Then he fucks around for the rest of the running time, completely failing to actually fulfill the prophecy. And it's really fucking tempting to end the review there. I've already told you pretty much everything you need to know. But, well, unlike the Wishmaster series, I've got standards. So, let's take a look at Wishmaster, The Prophecy Fulfilled, and bite this fucking bullet. After a mildly misleading title sequence and the same fucking intro text from the first movie yet again, but this time with fire behind it, we find that indeed it is wrong, and there's plenty more than the Djinn which we should fear.
Fear the Djinn.
I have to commend the Wishmaster movies. The openings do sum up the films pretty well. The first was horrors and wonders. The second was cheesy acting and action. And third and fourth? Bullshit. As we spent a few minutes listening to pop music and being introduced to the characters of Lisa and Sam, played by Tara Spencer-Nairn and Jason Thompson, respectively. It establishes such important details as the fact that they are a couple, buy a new house, and she seems to be both in love with the camera and has no fucking idea how to use one. Unless she's the one person on the planet who liked Battlefield Earth, I guess. They also leave the front door wide open while they spend some time fucking, and he even has her pose to draw her nude, despite the fact that she's clearly wrapped in an opaque sheet. Now it's time to head back to the road and ride that bike. How the fuck was any part of that intro able to warrant the cost of just the film to put it on? Just show the two motherfuckers in a house and say they've been in the house for 3 years. We can assume that they got the house together, and they were together, and they loved each other, and they fucked. These things kinda happen. The most important part of the introductory sequence was the fucking motorcycle, and they didn't even cover why. Until now, ish, as Lisa stops by her lawyer's place, a man positively obsessed with doors, Steven, played by Michael Trucco. Not because any fucking thing has moved at all in the case, mind you. That's not why he wanted to see her. He got her a special gift.
Steven, I know how hard you're working. You don't need to.
I found it on one of my all-night web surfing jags. It's nothing.
Yeah. The Djinn was hidden away in a statue in Wishmaster 1 and 2. Wishmaster 3 was part of an archaeological find. In Wishmaster 4? He bought it on fucking eBay! I guess you really can find anything on there. Of course, when Creepo McLimpdick tries to kiss her out of the blue, she freaks out, drops it, and winds up breaking it open, revealing yet another secret gemstone with a Djinn sealed inside. And now you don't have to breathe on it, or rub it, or just shoot it, or do anything, just fucking touch it. Touch it is enough to get the Djinn to break free. Because fuck any and all attempts at logic and consistency. The funky dude in the fire is enough to make Lisa decide that this just isn't her kind of super expensive looking gemstone, so she leaves it with Steve and gets the fuck out of there in a hurry. No bother, he can put it in the safe for safekeeping, if his safe weren't made of tissue paper. And Lisa can return home to Sam, where we get some hint as to what the fuck the lawyer is all about.
You hungry?
Nope,
You have to have something for dinner.
I did.
I thought that was breakfast.
Not why they got one first and foremost, but why he's in the running for her affection. Shit back home ain't all that great. Because horror of horrors, Sam is paralyzed! Thus he can't get it up, is depressed, and figures she's fucking Steve anyway.
Are you implying that I slept with him? Is that what this is about? Sex?
Always about sex.
Unfortunately, he's right. In this movie, no matter how fucking stupid it is, somehow it's about sex. And being fucking stupid.
How can you love me when I can't love you?
Well, simple, you can! Even if you mean physically and the paralysis is bad enough that you can't get it up the traditional way. Ever heard of cock rings? Viagra? This shit still works! I mean, what the fuck happened in the accident? Did your dick get ripped off and flew into a tank of piranhas? Adding to his idiocy, he's surfing for porn while drinking tequila, as if he's trying to make sure he won't be able to get an erection. But we're supposed to think that this is his sad state of depression, as their physical love has waned since that fateful day. Ah well, fuck it. Time for the Djinn to come after Steve.
God damn it.
Not quite.
The hell?
That's closer.
And I'm not even gonna go for the walk on stage through the smoke machine technique this time. No, now the Djinn's just trapped in the fucking closet. Because why the fuck should any horror movie ever risk trying to be fucking scary?
If I wanted to scare you, you would be scared.
Oh, why is that? You're gonna tell your daddy. Either way, while the Djinn came from a different source yet again, its role is reprised by Wishmaster 3 actor John Novak. In any case, the deal's the same.
Your soul for a wish.
I wish you would stop talking in riddles and tell me exactly what the hell it is you want.
I just fucking did! Souls for wishes! What the fuck else could that possibly mean? Well, Steven sells his soul for butt fucking nothing as the Djinn comes out and tells him exactly the same fucking shit. He does throw in the opening text info for the lulz, but either way, wish granted, dumbass.
I will take my soul.
That's not a soul, that's a face. But there's something quite a bit different about what happens when the Djinn steals Steve's face versus any others in the entire series.
Hey, good morning, Sam.
It's a little early to be chasing ambulances, isn't it, Steve?
The bird gets the worm, Sam, and this morning we are going for the whole garden.
Somehow the Djinn got absolutely all of Steve's knowledge along with it, meaning that he doesn't have to spend the entire movie trying to track down his summoner. He knows where she lives, he knows about the case, he knows about all of this shit, he knows her favorite food, because the fucking writer has no fucking idea what the fuck he's doing! Showing up out of the blue to interrupt their morning upsets Sam, but he sticks to his passive-aggressive bullshit and rolls away, leaving the Djinn to invite Lisa back to his office, alone, so that he can go over that new strategy he has for her and Sam's accident case.
So,
Oh, I'm waiting for you.
waiting for me to what?
Well, tell me what you wish for, and the strategy begins.
And for some reason, the Djinn in this movie is ridiculously pedantic. In every previous Wishmaster movie, he could just make a wish out of you just saying that you wanted something in any way, even when you actually meant that you didn't want anything at all. Here, he absolutely must hear the words, "I wish." At this point, I'm surprised they didn't have him come out of a fucking lamp. Point is, Lisa wishes that Steve could make them settle the case. Of course, there has to be some nasty twist to this, but how do you twist those words to be evil while still maintaining the entire $10 million settlement?
Oh, no, don't hang up, Doug. I'm certain we can settle this thing right now.
By instead twisting the Djinn's words to be dark and sinister. I mean, sure, that guy didn't wish for a goddamn thing. But, hey, we've got a severe lack of wishing going on in this movie, and we have an irony quota to fill. As well as a severe lack of decent performances, as the other employees at this establishment don't look the most horrified at seeing their boss rip his own face apart shortly before signing the $10 million settlement and then blowing his own brains out. Don't worry though, bloodstains magically don't work on a fax machine, and Lisa is $10 million richer.
I've also decided not to take a fee.
Steven,
It's not about the money for me, Lisa.
I can't let you do that.
It's done.
Oh, way to go, don't even wait for her to wish that she could keep it all. Fuck, I could plan a more efficient apocalypse without super cosmic powers, especially as a lawyer. Instead, he just lets her leave so she can go home and be further disappointed with Sam, as he now mopes about how they get to fight over the money now.
Do you think that I've stayed with you just to get a piece of the settlement?
It's the best reason I can come up with.
That's because you're an asshole! Which makes it a very good argument to make, but unfortunately horror movie characters aren't renowned for their great sense of logic. He's still convinced she's going to leave him for the lawyer, and this belief isn't shaken when said lawyer calls up, the Djinn now of course, to invite her to dinner, along with Sam, but of course this guy's an idiotic asshole.
Wouldn't want to be a third wheel, or fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh for all that matter.
Get it? 'Cause I'm in a wheelchair! Haha! God, I'm witty when I'm being passive-aggressive. Therefore, Lisa heads off to dinner with the Djinn alone, because when you're concerned your lady is looking to bone a handsome young rich guy, not going when you are expressly invited means you can be angry at her later even if she doesn't do anything. Sam's concerns seem even more insane when you consider the fact that even now, after getting the money, Lisa is far more concerned with Sam than anything else.
I just wish Sam could walk again, you know?
Yeah. I understand.
How about wishing he would shut the fuck up and realize you haven't treated him badly at all in the entire fucking movie? I mean, unless it was in that 3-year gap we weren't shown, but since we weren't shown it, it probably wasn't that important. You know, like the accident. Lest we forget, though, this Djinn can grant any wish, like the waitress's random wish to be kissed by everyone. Well, that wasn't part of it, but hey, it's not like every guy in the restaurant jumping in for a piece is disturbing at all. Slightly better as we see that Sam gets the feeling back in his legs. This feeling being unbearable, intense pain, but hey, it's a feeling. This means by the time Lisa gets home, Sam is standing strong. But what's this? It turns out she was out with that bastard Steve this whole time! Like he already knew. You were invited! You just learned that she went out with him for dinner, and all they did was have dinner. This reaction only makes sense if you're disappointed that she didn't have sex with him. Just because Sam's barrier from fucking has been lifted, that doesn't mean he suddenly thinks a relationship with a woman he's been in a relationship for years will actually work, though. This means Lisa has to confide in her friend, an employee at the Arabian-themed lingerie store she owns, because of course she does, Tracy, played by Kimberly Huell.
What about his mojo? Is that rising yet?
What are you talking about?
Sex.
Of course she's talking about sex. What the fuck else has anyone talked about all movie? I guess there's still Sam talking about all that mopey shit and all the reasons he's still treating Lisa like dirt, because, after all, he hasn't forgotten what she did.
Pretend like it never happened. Pretend like I didn't see the way you looked at me when you bathed me and dressed me and wheeled me down the street.
Well, we didn't see that shit. The screenwriter thought it was more important to show the two of you fucking. They were obviously wrong. But what is that big oh-so-important thing that has him so worked up?
Sex, Lisa. I'm talking about sex. How's it been for you lately? Because let me tell you, for me it's been...
So for 3 years you didn't have sex. You poor fucking baby. Okay, so you got the feeling back in your cock, and the first thing you want to do with it is go out and fuck someone, but not the beautiful woman who is in a relationship with you, who also hasn't had sex in 3 years, because being pissed about being paralyzed for 3 years is just too fucking important to you! So Sam leaves for some strip club action, meaning he's just gonna get teased and not have sex anyway, and the Djinn pops over to Lisa's place to comfort her. This is as awkward and boring as you can imagine, so the supernatural fuckboy leaves the room for a second. But then...
I wish I could just love you for who you really are.
The third wish.
Great! Now you can grant it, bring forth legions of Djinn into this world, and end this fucking series for good.
I want you to leave. Please.
Or you could do the exact opposite and just completely fuck up what your entire race has been trying to accomplish for eternity for no fucking reason! After Lisa leaves, we get a half-ass explanation, or rather the Djinn peek into the world and this one has to provide them with a half-ass explanation.
Human love must be given freely, or it isn't love. It's a trap. A wish only she can grant.
Which almost sounds like a reasonable explanation as to why he can't grant said wish, until you take into account that the third movie, directed by the same fucking guy, in the first fucking scene, had the guy ask for 2 women who loved him, and he got it! If that works, then how is this love somehow ungrantable? The making of a third wish also has a side effect, the awakening of the Hunter, played by Victor Webster. His job is to hunt Lisa down and kill her! But before any of that can happen, the Djinn stops off at Tracy's place for a little help with his love life.
It seems like an eternity since I romanced a woman.
It's not as complicated as people make it out to be. It's all about her.
It's like Chris Rock said, fuck you, fuck your hopes, fuck your dreams, fuck everything you thought this life was gonna bring you, go out there and make this bitch happy.
After what she's been through, if I was Lisa, I'd wish for some killer sex.
Killer sex.
Yes, sex, because it's Wishmaster 4. Honestly, this scene is also spliced together with another scene of Lisa dreaming about having sex with Sam. It's completely fucking pointless, but it's there, because it's Wishmaster 4.
I wish I was having some killer sex.
Granted.
You would think this means they'd start fucking, but no, actually. Of all the times in this movie to not involve sex is when granting the wish for killer sex. Instead, Tracy leans up against the wall to be poltergroped to death, while we switch back to Lisa's fucking dream and find out it's actually a nightmare with a Djinn is fucking her, meaning she probably isn't all that into him.
It's just you.
Is that disappointment or fear?
Boredom and annoyance. So they continue to not communicate, he maintains being a stuck-up asshole, and no sex between them is had. But life goes on. Except for Tracy, as her being dead means she didn't show up to work today. Thus, Lisa has to go in on a day off, and Sam starts carving a statue of the woman he seems to hate so much because fuck logic. Either way, the Djinn still needs to learn the intricacies of human love, so he heads to a strip club so the movie can shove more TNA in our faces.
Brother, I'd sell my soul just to be a pimple on her ass.
Really?
Which is the one and only time in this movie that a wish is granted without having to use the words, I wish. Because if you're gonna fuck consistency with the rest of the series, that doesn't mean you have to actually be consistent within your own movie either. Also, don't bother looking for that ass pimple, that requires even a micron of attention to detail. Either way, Lisa shows up to work, but without the shit she actually needs in order to do her work, so she immediately leaves, right before the hunter shows up demanding to know where she is, so that he may kill her! As he only finds Jennifer, played by Marianne Bernstein, and she isn't being particularly cooperative. The forces of heaven, ladies and gentlemen. Either way, the Djinn is still at the strip club and manages to run into Sam there. After bragging about how he fucked Lisa, which it's clear he hasn't, he again fails to get Sam to say the magic words I wish, which suddenly matter again. No bother, when he touches the stripper and promptly is informed that he's not allowed to do such things, the bouncer takes him out back to let him know what's for.
Get the fuck out of here. Is that your wish? Is that your wish, you sick fuck?
And at least it's a mildly entertaining scene for me. We get to see the Djinn get the shit absolutely kicked out of him for constantly demanding the words I wish like a moron. Also, for some reason, the Djinn completely sucks at combat, sticking to his human form the whole time despite how many bones are broken in the process. Until this, anyway.
I'd wish you'd put up a better fight.
Granted.
What the fuck?
And this almost looks like a reason to get excited. The Djinn gets up and starts posing like he's gonna go pro wrestling on this motherfucker. Sadly, the fight isn't nearly that over the top. At most, we see the Djinn is really strong and has supernatural abilities to help him in the fight. No shit. Well, once this is taken care of, the hunter finally gets his ass over to Lisa.
You are the waker of the Djinn. You must be killed now before the third wish is granted.
You came to kill her before the third wish was granted. Never mind that the second movie already established that you can't fucking do that, but you didn't bother showing up until after the third wish was made. And you appeared at the other side of town. And you set out on foot.
Now you see that evil will always triumph, because good is dumb.
As such, the hunter continues chasing her on foot while Lisa just drives the fuck away. Of course, she's also an idiot, and in her concerns that this jogging might be gaining on her, she winds up crashing the damn car. No bother, before the angel can cleave her in two, the magical lawyer pops out of nowhere to take it from here, waiting for Lisa to run away before pulling out the big guns. Oh, fucking great, he's gonna LARP him to death. Unsurprisingly, this fight isn't what you'd call exciting. It's somewhere around Dungeons & Dragons 2 makeup quality with asylum cinematography and Decker creepy crossover choreography. It also ends, rather unsurprisingly, with Heaven's one and only attempt to stop the apocalypse being easily defeated, having only killed one innocent woman this whole time. For fuck's sake, the hunter was so inept and easily defeated. I actually think that I could have omitted his scenes entirely from the review, and it would have made the movie look like it flowed better. Speaking of pointless bullshit, Lisa returns home to find a note from Sam, saying he doesn't love Lisa. No shit, Sherlock. Oh well, this just means that when the Djinn arrives shortly thereafter, they can get right down to business. Anyone surprised this is leading to fucking? Like, anyone at all? Weird fucking, too. For some reason, the woman doesn't find it all that strange she's being groped from behind by a gaggle of demonic hands, but either way, the Djinn wastes no time spoiling the mood by using the pillow talk to demand a declaration of love out of Lisa right here, right now.
Do you love me for who I really am?
Who is the real you, Stephen?
Please let it turn out to be Dio. Of course, his demands for love lead nowhere, considering Lisa says there's more to love than sex. Wish the screenwriter knew that. And the Djinn even confesses to having written that letter supposedly from Sam.
I want you to leave.
Lisa.
Now.
I think it's safe to say the guy doesn't handle rejection all that well. which means he's trapped her here in this supernatural space between the worlds in her own house, still trying to get her to love him for who he truly is.
Is love truly blind, my dear? I'm afraid not.
She spent years not fucking the love of her life just because of a chair with wheels on it. I'm pretty sure the soul-eating, world-destroying demon thing is kind of a deal-breaker. The Djinn's continued attempts to win her affection, either through threats of pain and eternal misery, or going all whole new world on her, are interrupted though when Sam shows up. Also, it turns out he wasn't in pain all this time because the Djinn just is spotty about how he does his ironic wishes, but either way, Sam has finally come up with a wish to end this nightmare.
I wish I had a way to kill you.
Oh, for fuck's sake, they tried that over and over again. And even in this movie, the Djinn tells the hunter that death for him is just the moment before being reborn again, so it's not like it's going to...
Granted!
Or, yeah, you can kill a Djinn, because of course you can kill a Djinn. A Djinn is just a thing, so just kill the Djinn. Because fuck, of course you can kill the Djinn, because fuck any kind of respect for the Wishmaster series whatsoever. The irony of this wish is that the sword is kinda heavy, making Sam less than capable of actually doing anything. Therefore, he gets impaled instead. Rather than check to make sure he's actually dead, though, the Djinn just continues to woo Lisa into loving him for who he really is. Somehow he thinks the way to do this is by transforming into Sam, but what's this? The real Sam has a plan. Stab the Djinn with a magic sword. Without taking it out of yourself first, because as we know it's Sam fuck putting effort into anything. Therefore, crappy ending! The Djinn got poked by the anti-Djinn weaponry, and therefore dies. Or is banished, or whatever the fuck. The point is he's out of the movie, but Sam is still dead. And Steve, and pretty much everyone Lisa ever interacted with all movie. The end! Guess all things considered, I shouldn't be too surprised that the way to defeat the Djinn was to ram him from behind, but... Anyway, that was Wishmaster, the Prophecy Fulfilled. What a piece of shit! The story of a well-done horror movie's fall from grace as it gets milked to death in sequel after sequel isn't a new one, but sometimes an example just stands out that makes you sit back and say to yourself, wow, they really fucked that series up. Wishmaster was a welcome jolt of creativity into the horror genre, and although it never attained super iconic status like Halloween or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's still a lot of people out there who fondly remember the original movie. The second was vastly different, but kept a lot of the same charm, but holy fuck did the series go into the toilet after that. The last two movies do have quite a bit in common, being produced one right after the other. Most importantly, I think, is that they are insufferably generic. Wishmaster 3 was a campus slasher snooze fest, and this one, it's like someone heard they were writing a horror movie about a killer genie, didn't do any research into the series at all, and used it as a means to surround themselves with titties. While the Wishmaster series was no stranger to nudity and fan service, Wishmaster 4 makes everything about sex. It opens on sex, the lawyer wants sex, the Djinn must learn sex because Lisa hasn't had sex because Sam can't have sex. Hell, even before she's decapitated, Jennifer remarks about how cute the sword-wielding madman in her store is. People never stop being horny long enough to realize there's supposed to be a horror movie going on somewhere in here. Overall, Wishmaster, The Prophecy Fulfilled is an abomination of a Wishmaster movie, and a really shitty example at horror in its own right. The pacing is very slow, and there's next to no tension in the movie for anything other than how the characters intend to go about getting laid. While the acting and budget aren't the worst, the whole package is so incredibly disappointing, it comes in at one completely useless angelic apocalypse insurance policy. Out of 5. Part of me wishes they would make another just so that this isn't what the legacy of Wishmaster ends on. But at the same time, I know just how hard films can be. This is a 1, but it's not a 1 that makes me wish that I would break my rules sometimes and put it as a 0 instead. Thank you all for watching. I'm Shado. And remember, you can't call it the prophecy fulfilled if you never actually fulfilled the fucking prophecy!
Now is it Mondays and Wednesdays? Or Tuesdays and Thursdays?